Okay, intermediate algebra students, well done. You have access to your textbook. And so now in this video, what I'm going to do is take you around the Pearson interface, show you some things, walk you around a little bit, get you used to what you should be looking at. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, right now what you're looking at, or what you should be looking at, is our course homepage for 121. What I've done is over here to the left, there is a link that says My Math Lab. So if you press on that, and it's going to ask you to open in a new tab, which we do. Remember, Pearson is separate from GCC and our Canvas environment, and you're going to sign in with your user and password that you use to sign up. All right, and there you go. Since I'm an instructor, I have several resources here in front of me. I don't know what you guys are going to see, but there should be our link to our 121 classroom. So go ahead and press on that. And at this moment, what you're basically seeing is what I'm seeing, but as a student, I apologize, my internet's really slow for some reason. As a student, here's what your view is going to look like. What you'll see is a 2-week outlay. You'll notice that on the 23rd, there's 4 dots. That's an indication that some items are due on the 23rd. All right, you can see what those items are if you scroll down a little bit more. It's essentially our algebra review for this class and what things you should know coming in. All righty, but before I do anything else and show you some more interface, what I'd like you guys to do is go right now, rather than being on the current tab, go to the entire course to date tab. The reason why that's important is it's going to show you some information as well that you can see the same items down here. But more importantly, what we're going to do in the Welcome to My Math Lab, there's a link that says Browser Check. All of you should press that now. What this is going to do is tell you whether your browser accommodates all the things you're going to be seeing in this environment. So I'm on Google Chrome at the moment. So when I hit browser check, it's going to run a little bit and tell me you have the correct versions of all the plugins that are necessary for this course. And so I'm good to go. If you don't, it'll give you a rundown of what's missing, what not probably needs to be updated, or maybe you just need to change browsers. I'm partial to Google Chrome. It usually is the most stable, but you guys use what you want. Go through the browser check and make sure that it works. So I'm good to go. I'm going to close that. All right. And so the next thing I want to show you, let me go back to your current, what you usually see. So there's your home screen. And what you guys are going to see over here to the right, there are a lot of keys. All right. Oops. Yeah. There's a lot of keys over here to the right. Oops. I didn't mean to stop sharing. All right, there's a lot of keys over here to the right, and you're actually not going to be using a lot of these. The big ones you're going to be using are course home, which we currently are on, the assignments, where you can go find your assignments, all of them, not just the ones that are, in the 2-week list there over here. The student grade book to check your overall percentage, and then the e-text to actually get access to the textbook itself, if it was a physical copy. All this other stuff that you probably see over here, right? If you want to explore and look at it, be my guest, but you don't really need any of it. So I'm going to exit out. So these are the big 4 that you're going to be working on. All right, so let me clear that out. And since we're already on our course home, let's go to the assignment page. On the assignment page, you're going to see all the assignments. Right now, we only have 4 because we're beginning, but if we were, 14 weeks into this, you'd see everything. And you can scroll down and find what you want. I encourage you to do the My Math Lab orientation. That's also going to coach you along through the interface in a more detailed manner than I'm giving you at this moment. But please make sure you do that just to make sure you're familiar with the interface. What I'm going to do is just hit some homework. All right. So let's just say we're going to be doing some linear equality and inequality work. And what you'll notice is that for this section, there are 32 questions in the homework set. On my end, what I try very hard to do is keep the homework down to 1 hour. All right. So in this case, 32 questions seem to hit that. Sometimes it's only 20, sometimes it's 40 questions, but all homework is designed to take you an hour. Since you're a student and since you're learning, right, it might take you double that. So 2 hours. If it is taking you more than 2 hours to do a section of homework, that's a good indication that something is wrong with your foundation and you better start asking questions. All right. So be aware of that as we move through the semester. But You can jump into this. You can start at question 1 and go through it. Maybe you want to, go deeper in the homework set, whatever the case might be. How about I jump into this with question number 14, right? So question number 14 for this particular homework set, right, is talking about how to solve this equality going on, right? Now, if I know how to do it, I do basically do my work and then type in my solution there, all right? But what I also want to show you are some nice little buttons and features that you have available to you. On the bottom left, there's a help me solve this, which is an interactive way to do this. There's a view an example, which actually shows you another example and kind of talks you through it. And then there's get more help. I'm going to show you each one. When you do the help me solve this one, it's going to take the current equation that we're on. Let me move this over a little bit, and it's going to type it. And then it's literally going to do, right, is walk you through the process. So notice the first thing to do is remove parentheses. They've already done the first set for us, right? They've distributed that 6. They're waiting for us to do the next one. So if I distribute that 8, right, I'm going to get an 8x, what they have, and then 8 times 2 gives us a 16. So I'm going to type that 16. You'll also notice that when I'm typing in there, I get a little bit of a legend, if you will, down here where I can type in fractions and exponents and absolute values and radicals, but I just needed to type in 16. I'm going to check my answer, and it's going to say, good job. Since this is interactive, it's going to take me to the next step. What do I do next is I combine like terms. They've already done it on the right-hand side, right? 16 to minus 8 is 8, but they're waiting for us to do it on the left-hand side. So 6x is nothing like it. And negative 36 plus 4, when I add those together, I get a negative 32, right? I'm going to check the answer. It's going to say, good job, you're right. All right, so it's literally interactively walking me through that problem. Our next move is to get all the x's by itself. They're using the golden rule of subtracting 8x from both sides. You kind of see that they're doing that. You can do that vertically or horizontally. So they're really coaching me through, right? And then when I do this, 6x and negative 8x, right, is going to be negative 2x, all right? And check my answer, and it looks like I'm right. And then the next move is to combine like terms that you add 32 to both sides. So if I added 32 to 8, I would get 40. So it's literally walking me through interactively with this problem and kind of coaching me along about what to do. If we divide by negative 2, right, well, 40 divided by negative 2 is negative 20. And there's basically the answer, right? And I basically got walked through that. Okay, so there's our solution. Now, what I like about this as the instructor, that's the problem that I was currently doing, and they literally coached me through. So now when I close this, what they're going to do is give me a problem that's a little bit different. There's some similarities, but I think what definitely changed was rather than a minus 8 there, there's a minus 12. So I like that feature, right? Because that's what's going to happen during tests. The problems, the concepts are going to be the same, but the numbers will be different. So you want to make sure you're learning holistically. So that's helped me solve this. Viewing examples, another way that'll coach you through, but it's not going to be interactive. What it's going to do is give you another problem. Notice that it's different than the one I'm currently working on. It's going to give me instructions, and then it's going to basically do those for me. So if I press continue, it's just literally coaching me through what's happening at each stage for that particular problem, right? And then when I continue and all the way to the solution, when I close, it's going to give me the same problem to solve. So that just gives you another example. That would be kind of like watching what I do with your notes. All right, I've given you an example. Here's how you do this one. Now go apply this to something different. All right, so those are the big two help buttons to do. One is interactive for the problem I'm currently doing. The other is another example that's similar to the problem I'm doing. There's also the get more help button. This one usually has 3 features. The first one that would be on the top is a video. If you have that video feature, which this one doesn't have, unfortunately, that's a video that Pearson has made, and it's separate than the videos that I'm making in the Canvas. All right, so make sure you're aware of that. So some of the instructions might be similar, but there'd be another instructor literally walking you through the problem, kind of like the view and example. They'll also, if you press the textbook, it'll send you to the textbook section that this problem has an example for. So you can actually view an example problem for it. And There we go. Right. So come on. Like I said, my internet's a little slow, but there's solving principles, and you can kind of get a feel for. You can see them playing that golden rule of adding the same thing to both sides, and it will kind of coach you along with that. Or what you can do in the get more help is you can ask my instructor. When you press on that button, what it does is it gets an email ready for me. It tells me what section you're on, what question you're on, and then you even have a little dialog box where you can type in some stuff like, I'm having trouble getting started. I don't know, what do I do first? Or, why are they subtracting 8x from both sides? Or whatever the case might be. Then you send it. I get that email and I'll do a couple of things. If there's several of your classmates asking the same question, more than likely I'll start our next class section together talking about that problem that everybody seems to be stuck on. Or what I'll do is I'll email you directly and tell you that, the reason why they're subtracting 8x from both sides is because we're supposed to do the same thing from both sides, and they chose to do negative 8x. You could also do this or whatever the case might be. All right. So there's several places to get some help for a problem. So, we get that. So what I'd like to do here, I don't know what the answer is going to be yet. I'm going to do some other things. So how about I just type in 34? If I check answer, it's going to obviously tell me it's incorrect. And then it's also coaching me along to remember to remove the parentheses using the distributive property, then collect like terms. All right. So there's a little bit of coaching there as well. But I did get that problem wrong. So let's go back. Let me go ahead and X out of here. Right. And what it's going to do is it's going to update. So what we were working on currently was question number 14. And right now, since I never got it right, what you see is an X. If I was to get something right, you'd see a little green check mark. Right. But unfortunately, I got that problem wrong and we'll go somewhere else. Because what I'd like to do is go to your student gradebook. When you press to the student gradebook, what it's going to show you is where you've been working. Right now, I did some work in chapter 2. It tells me how long I spent. I spent 11 minutes, right? The time that I checked in and all that. And unfortunately, you guys didn't see me get anything right. So right now, my overall percent, as you see over here, is 0. But as you get more and more problems right, that percent will go. And as I mentioned in the syllabus, what I'm going to do is take that percent, multiply it by 400 to get you your homework score. All right, so that's what's going to go on my end. All righty, and you can always check your homework score, your percentage, by doing the student gradebook. One reminder: your percent that you see in Canvas, that has everything, all your tests, all your guided notes, your homework. So that percent will probably be a little higher or a little lower than what you see in your homework. There's two different things, but the homework score that you see in Canvas should match the homework score you're seeing with your percent there. Deal? Last but not least, the next one you're going to see, you've already seen the textbook, but there is a link to the textbook itself. So, right now we're currently working, well, I don't see chapter R, all right, because we're working in chapter R, and I don't see that. So let's go ahead and go to e-contents. Well, how about I just go to view mobile and access the text? Maybe it'll be there, right? So we can open the e-text and everything will be open to me. All right. And so you can literally jump to whatever section, whatever chapter that you're on. I'm hoping R4 comes in here really quick. All right. But there's basically your e-text and there's your table of contents. Right. And if you scroll down, I'm pretty sure, there we go. There's our chapter R. Right. We were currently working in R2. So I can open R2 or I can go to the exercise set. All right, and kind of get the same stuff that you were seeing earlier when we were looking at items. So there's basically your textbook, right? Walking you through, if you had the textbook in your hand, what that textbook and what all the examples would look like for more help if you needed. All righty, so there's basically the interface. Let me go back. Let me close some things up here. Go back to our main menu and to our course home. This is what we have. So again, as a reminder, course home, assignment, student gradebook, e-text, those are the big 4. Don't worry about the others that you see there. Unfortunately, like I said, on my end, I can't get them off. All righty, so that should get you prepared. start getting some homework done. This week's homework is just review of some items that you should have seen in your past. Our first test is January 23rd, which is also when all this stuff is due. So we're going to test your ability to be ready for intermediate algebra. Hopefully things go well. If they don't, start asking questions. All right. And I will see you guys in some videos coming soon as you continue to work through this getting started module. Talk to you guys later.